Right friends, welcome back to Why and How for 21st week. As I have already announced, there will be only 2 modules per week for 21st week, 22nd, 23rd, 24th in view of Civil Services Preliminary Examination and revision classes and questions and answers discussions for Civil Services Preliminary. And after the preliminary examination, we will start current affairs modules as usual. And we will cover all the important aspects. We don't leave anything because without continuity, even current affairs is very difficult even for me also. So I have to maintain continuity. So I don't leave anything. I will cover one way or the other. And this Why and How. The first point, the Prime Minister released a 2-part book series on the eminent agricultural scientist Dr. M.S. Swaminathan and M.S. Swaminathan, The Quest for a World Without Hunger, and he was associated with the Green Revolution of 1960s, and the Prime Minister now is talking about Evergreen Revolution. The Prime Minister several times is stating that instead of Green Revolution 2, we should think about Evergreen Revolution. So the Prime Minister also stated that we should have sustainable agricultural production and work towards removing the regional imbalances. And this book talks about 50 years of Green Revolution, an anthology of research papers of the legendary scientist. And let us go ahead. This is Svalbard Global Seed Vault, built to preserve humanity's food sources, has been flooded by melting ice. And if any catastrophe occurs on the land, how to protect the seeds? That's why this Svalbard Global Seed Vault. This is the initiative of the Ministry of Agriculture and Food on behalf of Kingdom of Norway. This is owned and administered by the Ministry of Agriculture and Food on behalf of Kingdom of Norway, and it can store about 4.5 million seed samples, and they can be stored at minus 18 degrees Celsius, right? And this Svalbard Global Seed Vault is situated here. Please go through this map, and this is the initiative, and on behalf of Kingdom of Norway, Ministry of Agriculture and Food is maintaining this, and it offers a fail-safe protection for one of the most important natural resources on earth, very important. So in a nutshell, if something happens to the world, if we lose all the seed varieties, then this storage will be acted as for restarting the agriculture, right? So it is situated deep inside a mountain on the northern Norwegian island of Spitsbergen, and it is known as Doomsday Vault, and it is to preserve humanity's food sources in the event of man-made or natural disasters, and it is designed to protect the world's most precious seeds from global catastrophe, right? So let us go ahead. The Madhya Pradesh government has given the task to the Indian Institute of Technology Kharagpur to find a quantifiable answer to what constitutes happiness. All of you are familiar with Madhya Pradesh government, which created Anand Mantralaya, or you can say the Ministry of Happiness, and the Chief Minister himself is the first happiness minister. And recently the government signed an MOU with the IIT Kharagpur to devise a happiness index for the state. Let us look at the next one. During 2016-17, IFCI Limited has reported a net loss of 459 crores. I am not going into the reasons for the loss, but you should have clear understanding about IFCI Limited and IIFCL. This IFCI Limited, this is Industrial Finance Corporation of India Limited, and it is the first DFI, Development Financial Institution. This is the first DFI established by Government of India. Just almost 1 year after independence it was established, and it got access to low cost funds of RBI, and name also changed to IFCI Limited in October 99, and primarily it was established to cater for industrial finance, and now it lost its relevance. And the unfortunate aspect is during 1990s, the development finance institutions lost their relevance. IFCI is one such institution which lost its sheen. At the same time, ICICI, which was started as development financial institution, became bank finally. IDBI, which was started as development finance institution, also became a bank. So the unfortunate aspect is development finance institutions could not expand their operations after new economic policy of 1991, and the space required for infrastructure finance, for expansion of various sectors was taken over by the banks. That's why banks are suffering badly, right? And if you look at IIFCL, this is the organization which is meant for long-term debt finance for the infrastructure projects. Basically, infrastructure projects will have long gestation period, and if banks give loans to infrastructure projects, sometimes asset liability mismatch may take place. So as to take that into account, now India Infrastructure Finance Company Limited is the organization which is looking at infrastructure finance, and due to the lack of suitable development finance institutions in our country, actually banking sector is suffering badly, right? And look at the next one. The exit by General Motors from India highlights the challenges faced by multinational companies in dealing with the market. This General Motors decided to exit Indian market. Why it failed? It failed because of several reasons. The first reason is it is not able to understand Indians' psychology. Indians are highly price sensitive and they do not bother switching over products when there is price advantage. Then the second point is localization is the key to success in India. One need to have a local flavor. Though it may be a multinational company, but it has to inculcate local flavor in terms of product development, distribution, as well as after sales service, and multiple products and consecutive launches are required in the automobile sector to stay afloat in the market. And unfortunately, General Motors could not inculcate all these qualities. That's why it is exiting Indian market. Then Israel Aerospace Industries was awarded an additional $630 million contract for the supply of long range surface to air missiles or LRSAM air and missile defense systems for Indian Navy, and the contract will be carried out with the state run Bharat Electronics Limited, which will be the main contractor in the project as part of India's Make in India policy. Look at the next one, Project Sangam. What is Project Sangam? Two things please don't forget. One is it is the project of Microsoft and it is a cloud hosted platform, and the purpose is with Aadhaar verification. It provides the persons an integrated mobile first platform for skilling and development. So it is the platform for skilling and development, and the platform will also provide advanced analytics and insights for monitoring. And here it signed an MOU with the Telecom Sector Skill Council to improve skills of telecom executives and create a more viable skilling ecosystem. And if someone talks about Project Sangam, please don't forget it is the initiative of Microsoft. Then the government decided to go for Shakti. What is Shakti? Shakti means scheme for harnessing and allocating koila transparently in India. So for allocation of coal transparently, government decided to go for Shakti so as to promote a transparent process of coal allocation for power projects. You may have a doubt, what is the present system? The present system is devoid of transparency and held up sometimes in red tape and corruption. So as to take it out, the government has gone for Shakti. The present system is an independent power producer proposing to set up a coal-fired power plant, have to request the power ministry for coal linkage. Then the ministry will forward the request with its own recommendation to the standing committee, and then it will decide. So several layers are involved. In our country, if more and more layers are involved, it will lead to corruption. That is the unfortunate aspect in our country. So keeping this in mind, for transparent allocation of coal, government decided to go for Shakti. So here proposed system is, it proposed to do away with the discretionary element and introduce market-based pricing for independent power producers. So as to improve the transparency in the coal allocation, this Shakti is proposed, right? Cabinet approves raising of bonds of rupees 2,360 crores for renewable energy, and IREDA that will look at this process, and this is the public sector entity under Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and these will be used by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy for the approved programs or schemes for solar parks, green energy corridors, like that. That means to promote renewable energy, this money will be used. Then under the Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana, a new AIIMS will come up at Kamrup at a total cost of 1123 crores. Lot many AIIMS are being established. If you look into this list, there are several places where All India Institute of Medical Sciences are under different stages of evolution. And Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana, two things I would like to tell you. One is, it is primarily meant for the creation or the establishment of tertiary healthcare facilities nearer to the common man. Instead of metros, the common man must be able to access tertiary or super specialty healthcare nearer to their place. And with that in aim, government is sanctioning All India Institute of Medical Sciences. The second point is, it is also upgrading district medical hospitals up to the standard of super specialty, or you can say tertiary care, right? Then the next one is, USA President Donald Trump visited Saudi Arabia as his maiden trip abroad. Please don't forget, at the time of Barack Obama, relations between Saudi Arabia, and before that, please don't forget, Saudi Arabia is the all-weather friend of United States of America. United States of America requires Saudi Arabia because lot of defense deals are involved. Billions of dollars of weapons purchase normally Saudi Arabia do from America. So it is mutual understanding, and America bothers about human rights violations in several countries, but it never talks about human rights violations in Saudi Arabia, because it is one of the biggest purchasers of defense equipment from America. And during the time of Barack Obama, the relations got strained, but at present, Donald Trump altogether presented different picture. He supported Saudi Arabia, and he in fact supported Saudi Arabia much against Iran, right? And in fact, to ensure peace in West Asia, it is very much essential to strike a balancing chord between Saudi Arabia as well as Iran. Iran is representing Shia community, Saudi Arabia is representing Sunni community, and America most of the times is supporting Saudi Arabia. But Barack Obama's tenure in fact resulted in civil nuclear agreement with Iran. That is because of Barack Obama, but now it appears that Donald Trump is tilting towards Saudi Arabia, whatever the reason. So this is the first poll. This is the second poll in West Asia politics. The third poll is Israel. Please don't forget. Let us go ahead. The President Hassan Rouhani won the re-election in Iran in a landslide. the voters in Iran overwhelmingly voted for Hassan Rouhani. He got 57% votes against 38% of Ebrahim Raisi, and here you can conclude that the electorate voted for moderate reformist over the rigid ideology with harsh social restrictions. And during the first term, he has accomplished the goal of reaching a civil nuclear agreement, but it has not translated into economic revival, and hopefully people are expecting two things. The civil nuclear agreement may result into economic revival during his second term. The second important point is people want more reformist measures. They do not want rigid ideology. They do not want social restrictions. They do not want conservative attitude. So you can say people are generally in favor of the reformist tendency, right? So these two things are very important. If you look at Iran, one is economic revival and the second one is reforms, further reforms in the economy. Look into the next one. Scientists at NASA have named a new organism developed by them after former President APJ Abdul Kalam. And please don't forget, the bacteria which was found only on the International Space Station and not found on Earth, and researchers at Jet Propulsion Laboratory, the foremost lab for NASA on interplanetary travel, discovered the new bacteria on the filters of International Space Station, and the name they have given is Solibacillus kalami, in the name of Abdul Kalam. And please don't forget, Abdul Kalam had his early training at NASA in 1963. Before he set up India's first rocket launching facility in the fishing village of Tumba in Kerala. Then Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, he was appointed as the new Director General of World Health Organization. Recently, 70th World Health Assembly was held at Geneva, and our Health Minister also attended, and the members elected Dr. Tedros Adhanom as the Director General, and he was elected by the members and nominated by government of Ethiopia, and this will be for 5-year term which starts from 1st July 2017. And another important aspect is our health minister spoke on the theme advancing the 2030 agenda for sustainable development, building better systems for health. And the health minister stated that India wants to achieve more than 90% immunization coverage by 2020. Right? During 2015, the immunization coverage was around 65% only. Government's intention is to increase every year 5%. Right? So 90% immunization coverage by 2020 government is aiming. Right? Then the next one is Prime Minister pitched for Asia-Africa Growth Corridor supported by Japan and India. And please don't forget, at present, India-Africa trade is $72 billion, and in fact, it doubled in the last 5 years, but there is a lot of scope for improvement. And another important aspect is India is the 5th largest investor in Africa, and during the past 20 years, it has invested $54 billion. And the Prime Minister is pitching for Asia-Africa Growth Corridor. This move assumed significance as it is coming days after China launched its ambitious OBOR initiative. And at the same time, please don't forget, India already announced $10 billion of line of credit for various projects in Africa. Then this African Development Bank, I have given all the details. It is a multilateral development finance institution for the economic development and social progress of African countries, formed in 1964, and India is member country, please don't forget, right? And the mission is to fight poverty and improving living conditions on the continent, right? This is the picture of 52nd annual meetings, right? Look into the next one. NASA advanced its mission to asteroid Psyche. NASA is going to launch its robotic spacecraft to SAIC, and SAIC is made entirely of nickel iron metal. So please look into this asteroid belt. This is the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. And why this is so much significance? Because of the reason it offers unique look into the violent collisions that created Earth and the terrestrial planets. Right, if someone talks about this SAIC, this is the asteroid, this is the mission by NASA, and to look at the violent collisions that created Earth and the terrestrial planets, and to have some insight into these aspects. Look into the next one. Railways is planning to set up rupees 35,000 crore fund called the Railways of India Development Fund, RIDF. Railways of India Development Fund. And here one important aspect is Railway will keep minority shareholding of 49%. The remaining 51% of the stake will be given to the institutions like World Bank, IFC as well as LIC, and the fund will be used for providing long-term debt and equity to all rail related projects and for various kinds of project financing. And by keeping 51% externally and 49% internally, what I mean to say is, by keeping 49% stake by Railways and 51% by outsiders, will result in more and more accountability and transparency. And look into the next one. Mortgage lender HDFC is the only company to be named among the top 10 consumer financial services companies in the world. And please don't forget, there are 4 metrics for classification. One is sales, profits, assets and market value, and HDFC Limited stood at 7th position. Right, look into the next one. RBI allowed all cooperative banks with their own network of ATMs to issue semi-closed prepaid payment instruments. Prepaid payment instruments are primarily 3 types, you can say: closed prepaid payment instruments, then semi-closed, then open. If you ask me what is the difference, closed prepaid payment instruments are the smart cards like issued by Delhi Metro. For example, if Delhi Metro issues a smart card which can be used only for purchase of tickets, in Delhi Metro, that is a closed prepaid payment instrument. And if it allows some purchases in the shops available in the metro stations, you can say semi-closed. So like that, they can be classified into closed, semi-closed and open, like that. So don't worry about the difference. But one important aspect is RBI allowed all cooperative banks with their own network of ATMs to issue semi-closed prepaid payment instruments. Then Moody's Investor Service said it has downgraded IDBI Bank. Please don't forget, the investor services, their main purpose is to rate various governments as well as various companies. And here the downgrading reflects the deterioration in the financial profile of IDBI Bank. Please don't forget Moody's, Standard & Poor's, Fitch ratings. Here Moody's and S&P together enjoy 80% market share in the world. And if you look at credit rating agencies in our country, CRISIL enjoys around 60% market share. It is S&P Global company. And Niti Aayog unveiled a policy blueprint aimed at electrifying the country by 2032. This is the move that is catching the attention of car makers that are already investing in electric technology in China. The report by Niti Aayog is to promote electric vehicles in a big way, and the report recommends lower taxes and lower interest rates on electric vehicles while capping the sales of petrol and diesel cars. So it's going to be a radical shift in policy towards electric vehicles. Then Moody's Investor Service downgraded China's credit rating for the first time, and it expects the financial strength of the economy will erode in the coming year as growth slows down and debt continue to rise. And there are two important aspects when you look at China. China's economy so far is driven by export-oriented pattern. So China's economy is driven by export orientation, but now it is shifting towards consumption-led model. That is one part. And the second part is, so far the growth in China is fueled by credit. Now there is a lot of debt burden, and because of all these things, this Moody's Investor Service downgraded China's credit rating. And if you look at further, Chinese government is grappling with the challenges of raising financial risks stemming from years of credit-fueled stimulus. So, two things are very important: how China will transform from export-driven economy to consumption-led model. Then second point is how it will cope up with the higher debt burden, right? So, this is China's map. Look at the next one. The Prime Minister inaugurated the country's longest bridge, that is Dhola Sadia Bridge in Assam. It is built over Lohit River. This is the tributary of Brahmaputra, and this links Dhola is in Assam, and Sadia is in Arunachal Pradesh, and this facilitates the connection between Upper Assam and eastern part of Arunachal Pradesh on 24/7 basis, right? So, this is the longest bridge, Dhola Sadia Bridge. This is a 3-lane, 9.15 kilometer bridge, which was inaugurated by the Prime Minister on May 26th. Then KPS Gill, popularly known for his actions in Punjab for controlling terrorist activities, was passed away at the age of 82, and he was Director General of Police for 2 terms in Punjab, and he played a historic role in putting down the Sikh militancy. And one more important aspect is he got his own critics. He was also blamed for human rights violations, right? So, KPS Gill passed away at the age of 82. Look into the next one. Government issued a notification which made it illegal for farmers and animal traders to sell cattle. Cattle includes cows, bulls, buffaloes, and even camels also, for slaughter in animal markets. That means the fundamental point here is, if I am selling my cows, if some X is purchasing, and the purchase by X in the animal market is not for slaughter purpose. Please understand, if I am selling my buffalo and if some X is purchasing, now it is to be ensured that the purchase by X is not for again selling it to slaughterhouse, right? So, the rule aims to regulate the animal market and the sale of cattle, and these are the rules notified under the Cruelty of Animals Regulation of Livestock Markets Rules 2017, and the rule applies to whole of India except J and K. Cattle cannot be brought to an animal market for the sale for slaughter. The point to note is, if I am selling something, some animal, or you can say some cattle, that must be for the farm purpose by the purchaser. It is not for slaughterhouse purpose. Buyers of cattle at animal markets will have to confirm that they are agriculturists and declare that they will not sell the animal for a period of 6 months from the date of purchase, and so as to prevent smuggling across state borders, international borders. There are some rules and regulations specified, and at the same time it also provides for the constitution of District Animal Market Monitoring Committee. This District Animal Market Monitoring Committee will be headed by a magistrate, and every new cattle market must be registered with the DAMMC, and cruel and harmful practices have been prohibited, and provision for hiring of veterinary inspectors is also there, who will screen the animals before they enter the market for trade, right? So, cruel methods are prohibited, and there are other aspects to this. and we will discuss those aspects sometime later. And with this, let us conclude today's why and how. Have a nice day. Thank you.